to Python scripting for GIS applications. This is a class at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, spring semester 2013. In this session, we'll learn how to work with climate rasters, and this will be one of the candidate problems for your homework this week. So here's an example of a raster of temperatures for Alaska and the Yukon, and it's the decadal mean June, July, August temperature from 2000 to 2009. So for example, in the Yukon Flats area, the mean temperature was 16.7 degrees centigrade. And up here on the Alaska range, the mean temperature was negative 4.7 degrees centigrade. So this is the type of raster we're going to work with in the Okay, so I've set the environment workspace, and now I'll create a list of rasters in that environment workspace. Okay, so basically these rasters are the mean decadal temperature for an area in Alaska. And what we want to do is add the June, July, and August temperatures for each decade to get the summer temperature for each decade. So what we could do is make a list of decades. So here we're ranging from 1910 all the way up to the decade of 2000 to 2009. So we'll make a list of decades. So we can use the Python function range, and we'll go from 1910 up to, but not including 2010, in increments of 10. So then let's see what's in that list. So now we've got in our list the decades corresponding to these. Okay, so what we could do is we could do a loop and loop through each of these decades. And what I will do is mimic what would happen if we went through the first time through that loop. So the first time through the loop, the decade will be 1910. And what we want to do is grab that and convert it to a string. So then that creates our string variable. So now it's a string called 1910. So now what we can do is create a list of the rasters that contain that string. So we'll put a wildcard character in front of that. So the wildcard character is the asterisk. So now if we look at that variable, so now we can use that with our Arcpy list rasters. So use the Arcpy list rasters and give us all the rasters that have the string 1910 in them. So let's see what's in that variable now. So now we've got June, July, and August from that decade. So what we want is the average summer temperature for that decade, and we can use the cell statistics tool to basically ask statistics about a stack of rasters. So here we have a stack of 3 rasters. So what I'm going to do is make a mean raster, and it's going to be equal to, we'll use the cell statistics tool, and that requires a list of rasters. So take our list of rasters, and then what do we want? We want the average value from that list of rasters. So that's going to be equal to the average summer temperature for the summer as defined as the mean June plus the mean July plus the mean August divided by 3. So now if we look at mean, it'll have a property mean. So of all those pixels in that raster, the average value is 15.1 degrees centigrade for the summer of 1910. So that's an easy way to process rasters, is to use this cell statistics tool whenever you have a stack of rasters and you want some sort of descriptive statistic from the stack of rasters. So then we could execute this in a loop. So loop through every decade in our list of decades and basically convert the decade to a string, put an asterisk at the beginning and the end of that string, and then use that in our list rasters to get a list of rasters for the decade, and then use the cell statistics tool with that list of rasters to get the average for those 3 months. So take the June, the July, and the August, add them together, divide by 3, and give us the average. And then we'll make a string from our numeric decade value, and then we'll make a string from the average mean summer temperature for the entire area, and then we'll print that out. So 1910, the average is about 15.1 degrees. 1920, 15.0. 1930 was cold, 14.5, etc., etc., etc. So that's one candidate problem, and what you'll do is you'll do that problem for the homework assignment, writing the output to a text file.